Hey y'all, Soulfox here. Welcome to Soulcast. This is the podcast where we talk about everything inside of the virtual world, whether it be stuff that we're experiencing, new games, new tech, stuff like that. And we also bring you guys along for the journey. We answer some of your questions, some of your comments, so we get the community involved as well. Today, I've got a special guest. We're going to be talking about a few things, some of the stuff that got us into VR, some of our favorite experiences. So let me go ahead and introduce him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pooks. You might know him from Rec Room. He makes some amazing skits, him and his company, and they do a fantastic job with them.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So, Pooks, let's go ahead and let's dive into a few things, man. So first up, how in the world did you and I meet? I think I actually have the moment captured on camera.
Yes, within one of your Rec Room cut shorts, you eventually put it in. I was in the rec center using a robotic voice changer, flying around doing my fancy things, and I believe the first thing I ever said to you was, using the power of science, I've escaped gravity, and then I flew up into the sky, and you were very confused.
Yes, so you actually did that with, it's Play Space Mover, right?
Yes.
Okay, see, I had never, witnessed that, so the second I saw you just, grab and then start climbing into the sky, I was genuinely confused. It's like, what is happening? And I was so confused. I remember Yoshiro and I were just roaming around, and I saw you, and I was like, this guy sounds like GLaDOS. I need to go talk to him. I was very enthused. You seemed very unique. So we kind of became friends really quick after that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about what really got us into VR. I know that's a question I get often. Have people asked you that before?
Yes, I have answered it actually one time on my own little talk show that I do, but I'm perfectly fine answering it again.
Okay. So, what actually got you into the virtual world?
So, it's actually kind of a sad story, because in the beginning of 2017, I was unfortunately stuck in the hospital for a period of about 2 to 3 months, down at the Children's Hospital in the city located near us. However, though, in that hospital, they were just recently given a PlayStation VR, and I was able to use that for the duration of my hospital stay. And I really got into virtual reality and liking the PlayStation VR, so I started to do my own research on other VR headsets and games you could play on them, and I figured it's something that looks very neat, so soon after I got out of the hospital then, at the end of 2017, I invested in my first Rift, the first consumer version, and the rest is history.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, yeah, that is a sad start, but, it's beautiful how you kind of came out of it. You know, you got out of the hospital, and you've done a lot of awesome things for VR, especially this community. So to see you kind of, rise up like that, I think it's very moving. It's very nice. People ask me, and truthfully, I kind of forget how I get into it a lot, but I think, and this is the story I'm sticking with because I think this is how it happened. Not 100% sure, it's been a few years, but before I even knew what virtual reality was, I got kind of a mock-up, one of those virtual realities where you put your phone into the screen, you kind of just slide it in. We got this for Christmas, and I was like, oh, this is interesting, it's kind of cool. And then I kind of forgot about it, and then later on I started watching a channel called Node, and they do all these crazy kind of gameplays. I've been following the guys for years, and they played something called Orbis. I think it was them. If it wasn't them, it was somebody else, but I saw Orbis. And this was before it became Orbis Reborn or Orbis, I'm not sure what it's called now, but they redid the game. But I was like, there's an MMO inside of VR. This looks insane. It looks incredible. I grew up playing World of Warcraft. And so I was like, I really, really want to try this. And so I finally saved up. I bought me a Rift. I was like, this is going to be great. It's going to be fun. And I played that a little bit, and the motion sickness hit me just a little bit. But then, throughout the day, I was like, I'm going to try different games. I want to see what else it has to offer. I believe I downloaded Rec Room probably a few weeks later, but I downloaded Echo VR. I was like, this is incredible. I see people flying around in space, having a great time, throwing a frisbee. I'm like, this is going to be great. So I load in. I'm wearing, it's late at night. I have on a couple layers of clothes because it's cold. I've got a hoodie on. I've got on sweats. I'm way too much clothes. I'm just usually cold natured. So I do all that. I load in and I play this game for 3 or 4 hours. I'm just so enthused. I get out and I've got the whole Rift face where it's it's bad. Full on just marking all up on my face. And I had an absolute blast. But I get out of it and I notice I feel really weird. I was something's just not quite right. And apparently motion sickness hit me like a truck. And later on that night, I was to the point where I was like, I can never use that again. This is, I am horribly, horribly sick. I woke up the next day and I thought I was going to have to return it that day. I was so bad off. Could hardly get out of bed. It was terrible. And So I thought that was like the end of my VR run right there. I was like, you know what? It was cool to experience, but I'm done. I'm going to take it back to Best Buy. They can have it back. I can't see straight. Like, it's not good. So, you know, I had a great time with it, but I finally figured out like how to deal with motion sickness. Ginger, by the way, if y'all out there ever have motion sickness, something with ginger ale, highly recommend it. Put a fan on yourself. It helps out a lot. I still do it to this day. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I wanted to play an MMO. I got a little bit into it. I need to, you know, venture back in one day, but that is my story. That's how I got into it. So anyway, a few of the topics we're gonna be talking about today. Some of our favorites, some of our worst VR experiences. I think I kind of just said mine right there. That was definitely one of my worst. But Pooks, give me one of your all-time favorite VR experiences you've had.
One of my favorite ones was actually not terribly too long ago. It was in a game called Jet Island, and for those of you who aren't aware of what Jet Island is, it's a physics-based open-world exploration / combat game where you have what's the word? Not zip lines, but they shoot from your hand. Grappling hooks. That's the word. You have grappling hooks on your hands as well as jetpacks, and you fly and grapple around this huge open world. And it has all these floating islands and platforms, and you zip line and grappling hook across to them, and you fight these little enemies. Well, it was in that game. I had been playing for about half an hour, and I had towards the top of the in-game map, and I looked down, and the developer claims that there's 200,000 square feet of free roam area. It's this huge map, and I looked down from the top island, and I get genuinely afraid because there is a huge amount of distance between me and the floor, and just the sense of scale in that game, it took my breath away, even after playing VR for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
That is just, I just stood up there on this small little floating island, just looked out, and could see for miles. It was incredible.
It sounds great. It's always shocking, like, whenever you play a new VR game and it still takes your breath away. Like, we've been in VR for, I know myself, over 2 years now. So how long have you been doing VR?
For about 2.5, 3 years.
About 2.5. Okay, so yeah, it's still stunning. Like, there's things in Rec Room sometimes that people make that like takes my breath away. I'm like, how in the world did you manage this? Like, it's incredible. But the way you kind of described it, like you look down, you're like, oh, okay, all right. That reminds me of there's a game. It's called Richie's Plank Experience or something along those lines. I've seen a few people play that, and it seems like it's so crazy because they're walking, they know exactly where they're at, but that sense of you're like on a skyscraper. Yeah. There's so much depth in between you and hitting that ground that it throws people off. I've seen people dive, like full on fall over. It's crazy how much it can actually mess with your mind.
Oh yeah,
but it's still definitely cool. Like, people can make experiences that essentially put you into a different world. Like, you feel like you're actually there.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. I guess one of my favorites, and it's been one of my favorites for quite some time. You know, there's always some great things going on in Rec Room. I love seeing what people make. I remember whenever Gizmos had first came out, and we played a room called Escape the Genie. And I had never seen somebody make something of that big of scale. And this genie comes out of the ground. You know, you explore all this stuff, you escape, you figure out puzzles, and then this gigantic, massive, made us feel small kind of a genie comes out, and it's like moving, talking, and I didn't know that was possible in the Rec Room. But my all-time favorite, it's something so silly, but it was just like the fact that this community was so enthused and loved, and just like living in this moment. Yoshiro and I were hanging out, and this is back in one of the old rec centers, having a great time, and we loaded in there, and we hear music, and these people are over there by this giant mirror. Everybody's dancing when we hear the cha-cha slide, and it's just like this gigantic group. I still have the video. I can never upload it due to copyright, but still got the video because it's like I said, my favorite moment. And we just join in, and people are just dancing like full on. Like, you hear these people heavily breathing, like getting into it and having a great time. And then this dude in the back goes, "This right here, this is why I bought VR." And I was like, "Yes, this is great." Nobody invited us over. Nobody invited them over. Everybody just heard music. They came together. They danced. They were a community. They had their fellowship. Like, it was great. In that moment, I was like, this is wonderful. So that's definitely one of my favorites. Next up, we're going to go ahead and let me lower this down. Let me get my step stool. The people that actually made this room, big shout out to iJello and Matisse for making this. They said they had a surprise. They made me a step stool because apparently I'm too short to reach my green screen over here. So Poogs, if you'll just bear with me real quick, I'm gonna hop on up. I think I actually needed that. All right, well, I'm gonna move back over here. We're gonna lower that down. I feel like I need like some like cinematic music as that comes down. It takes its dear sweet time, but man, it looks nice. So, we're gonna go ahead and head off into a segment I would like to call Questions from the Soul. So, at first, we've taken a few questions from Discord, but I'm gonna be taking questions from you guys in the comments. So, if you ever have a question you'd like to ask us, either myself or the guest, write a question in the comments and then put hashtag Questions from the Soul. So, today's questions come in from the Extrovert. They say, how many times have you hit a wall in VR? Myself, I've at least done it twice, I think. I put a dent in my wall before, like a little chip. This is back whenever I had my Rift. I swung and just hit it. Thankfully, no hands, nothing was damaged, but I've definitely smacked it a time or two. How about yourself?
Well, in my old room before I moved into the basement of the house that I'm in right now, it was quite small, very small play space, and on one side there was a metal radiator, a big cover on it. And 2 or 3 times a day, I hear a clang because I hit the metal cover on the radiator. Luckily, the controllers were never damaged, but thankfully then I moved into the basement, so I have tons of space. However, there's quite a low ceiling in the basement, so now instead of the metal radiator, I'm constantly hitting the ceiling all the time. So, I'd say it's about twice a week I get a good smack on the drywall ceiling in here. Quite often, unfortunately.
I'll tell you, whenever we were actually searching for apartments, myself and Elizabeth, we were going out looking around. I had never thought I would actually try to like consider low ceilings as a thing I'm staying away from. But like ever since I've gotten into VR, I'm like, if this fan is to the point where I'm going to hit it multiple times, can't do it. Like that's. But I never thought that'd be a thing. Okay, so next question kind of goes hand in hand with that. This one comes in from iJello. It says, have you ever broke anything by playing VR? If so, how many things have you broken? So I know we've hit things. Have you ever actually breaking? Anything?
Before I switched room, there was one time where I did break something. I was playing Echo VR, and I went to throw a frisbee. I threw it down into the goal, and my desk was right here. And I was using my old Rift, so it had the ring on the bottom. The bottom of the ring hit the desk, shattered into 3 parts.
Ooh, goodness.
And Rift controllers are sturdy, so you know how hard I must have swung that. I'm lucky I didn't hit my hand, but that's the only time I've ever broken something.
I'll tell you, I've never actually broken anything myself, but like playing with people, I've heard people break it as we're playing. I remember there was a video we were doing on Fell Space, and Binnacle James was hanging out with us playing, and he goes to reach for something, and you hear a full-on like pot just fall over, crumble. It sounded like something straight out of Zelda. No. It's like it was so audible. And I was to the point where I was crying in my headset. I couldn't stop laughing because like everything was happening, and then it all led up to this big pot just like falling over, breaking. I'm like, oh man, it's rough. Myself, I've never actually broken anything inside of VR. I've busted my finger open one time. I was playing Beat Saber, and you're swinging back and forth, hand over hand, and I came down and just cracked right on the thumb. I was like, oh, okay, that hurt. Take off my headset, fingers bloody. I mean, I smacked it pretty hard. And I was like, man, okay, let me take a break from Beat Saber today. I've nearly broken a headset. I was playing box VR, getting really into it, and they have uppercuts in the game. And apparently, I cut a little bit too close to my face. And as I came up, I punched the headset, and about knocked myself out. Everything, it's right on your face. So whenever you hit it, it's very, very loud. And I was full on swinging. Excuse me, eraser. But I full on swing, punched it. And it was just this loud boom, and I disoriented, had to stop myself, about fell over. It's rough. You got to be really careful in VR, man. Yeah. Like there's so many dangerous things, especially for people around you. If they don't know what VR is and they come in to talk to you, they are in danger, like full on. It can be life or death. Please inform the people that are around you as you play VR. Have like a little sign, like I'm in virtual world. Watch yourself. Like you're in danger. You need a safe zone. Like, be careful out there.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So we have one more segment we're going to go to before we actually head off the show today. This is Soul in the Streets, so I'm going to go ahead and take it over to some people inside of Rec Room. We're going to talk to the community, see what they're up to, and kind of ask them about the newest update that has hit Rec Room. We have a level cap increase. I want to know exactly what people are thinking about it. So, Soul, go ahead and take it away. Well, Soul, thank you for heading out there on the street, asking us questions, and I'm glad we got some answers. So, we're going to go ahead and back. Apparently, we did not cover the worst experience. I know I covered one of mine, but there are definitely a few more. We got a few more to tell. I know I've got one for myself, but Pooks, do you have any downright the worst experiences you ever had in VR? Whether it be motion sickness, whether it be just having a bad time? Tell me about it.
There is one that definitely sticks out. It is public on my YouTube channel. It's when I played the game VR Regatta. I got a review copy from the developer for something I was doing. And in that game, you control a very accurate simulation of a small little boat. So you're in a small little boat, and there are some islands you can sail around to, and you need to tighten your sails and gauge the wind, and it's all very fancy and accurate.
Mm-hmm.
However, while I was recording, off in the distance, there was this big light beacon, and I was like, I wonder what that is. So I sailed my way over to the light beacon, and I passed through it, and it transported me into the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the night, with no islands, no nothing, just the sound of the ocean, and then the dark of night, and nothing. And I have an irrational fear of being alone at night in the middle of the ocean.
Oh,
and
no.
I had to throw the headset off. I knew it was VR. I was sitting on my floor with my hands on my carpet. I could feel the carpet, but nope, I couldn't do it. I had to throw the headset off and restart the game. It was hands down the scariest experience I've had in VR. I just couldn't take it.
Man, that's so crazy. Like, you were not expecting that. You were heading out to a beacon. I would have never expected just to teleport you out to the middle.
It was a sunny day.
Yeah.
There were birds in the sky with islands, tropical music, and then I hit this light beacon, and all of a sudden, just silence, just little ocean noise, and darkness. I look around, there's nothing. I'm like, nope, can't do it. Can't do it. I'm out.
Oh, I wonder what, he was thinking about. He's like, man, I'm going to make this beacon. These people are going to get teleported to another world, essentially.
I did find out.
Okay.
I did find out. Apparently, in that emptiness, if you look behind you, there's another beacon. And if you go through what he was doing, he was demonstrating the ambiances he could make within the game. So you went to another one, and it was a sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And you went to another. So there were different ambiances he was showing off. But the first one you went to was this nighttime pitch black one. And
So there was an actual purpose to it, not just tormenting those poor players that are trying to go out there and explore.
There was a purpose to it, I found out.
Okay, well, I mean, that makes more sense to me now. He's not just out there picking on people. I mean, some devs definitely throw out some Easter eggs to mess with people, but I'm glad there was an actual purpose to it. It just kind of came up in the wrong way.
Yeah.
There was one more experience I've had that it definitely hit me hard. I don't think I've ever been hit by motion sickness in such a fast pace. I can't remember the game. It is a racing game. Touring Carts. That's what it is. So Touring Carts is a little, Mario Kart-esque driving kart game. You race around with your friends. You have little power-ups, stuff like that. And they even have a comfort mode that puts you inside of almost like an arcade seat. Like, you go back, lay back, and they have a TV in front of you so you don't get motion sick. But I had played this before. I made a video for it. I had a great time. I was like, I had a little bit of motion sickness. I'm okay. I can handle it. So I played the game normally. I didn't have to use that, extra third-person view. I was fine. And me and my good buddy Dan the man, we're out there racing, having a good time. And we did, I think, about 2 races. And then we finally got on our 3rd race. And I'm like, hey, this is going to be our last race. We're going to, it's fine. Going to have a good time, have some fun. And as we're, I think on the 2nd or 3rd lap, something hits me. It full on felt like somebody had pulled their hand back and just punched me in the gut. I mean, hard, instantly. And I didn't know what was wrong. I was like, okay, all right, last lap, let's go. Okay, we're going. All right, let's finish it. And the second we finished it, I kid you not, I hit that final lap, I took off my headset, sat on the ground, and fell over, face first, hit the ground, and just laid in front of my fan because man. It has been a while since I've been that sick, and it came on so sudden, so quick. So I put that down and just laid there, and then probably a couple minutes later, I finally put it back on, found Dan, I'm like, hey, I am so sorry I just disappeared like that, but I don't know, man, it came out of nowhere. I haven't really had I don't think he's scares. That's been more of a physical scare for me, or sickness. I've definitely had motion sickness. That's the worst thing I have in VR. Is I've done it for so long now, but it's still, there are some experiences, especially with a lot of movement and racing games and stuff like that. I don't know what it is. My brain just doesn't handle it well. And it hits hard. But most of our experiences, I'm good. It's just whenever it comes to super fast motion, it definitely gets me. So anyway, guys, if y'all want to check out Pooks' channel, I'm going to leave a link right there, probably below his feed or in the credits. So once again, Pooks, I appreciate you joining me for this very first episode of the Soulcast. Guys, stay tuned, stay subscribed, thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it. Leave us some questions. I would love to hear what you guys want to know. And we'll be back with another episode, hopefully very, very soon. Thank you for tuning in. See you.
Bye.